Hello, servus and hola to my Portuguese wine-loving friends. Thank you for inviting me to tell you something about our winery, to tell you something about me and our products. Special thanks to André Oliveira, who is the administrator of this group, who invited me personally. Well, we are here in the middle of the vineyards in our wine growing area called Burgenland in the eastern part of Austria. Internationally spoken, I always say there are three big B's. You know, there is Burgundy, there's Bordeaux, and there is Burgenland. So our family winery comprises works with about 8 hectares. In total here in Burgenland we have 13,000 hectares of vineyards generally, and in our sub-region, which is called Lake Neusiedler See, there are about 6,000 hectares. Our main drivers in terms of varieties is Zweigelt. We have a lot of Blaufränkisch, Merlot, also Cabernet Sauvignon. In the white wine area we have Welsch Riesling, we have Chardonnay here. Well, our climate is mostly driven by the Lake Neusiedl. We have a lot of sun hours here. Burgenland is especially here. It's the top #1 sun region here in Austria. And yeah, in terms of the soil, we have sandy soils with loam, with black earth, a little bit of lime, so which gives us the opportunity to produce really complex red wines. And well, what we do now, I will show you my products, my wines. We will go now to the wine cellar, and afterwards I will taste for you some wines. So see you later. We are here at the Oak Barrels cellar beneath the winery. Within this cellar, which is really old, we have a special climate here, so our red wines can age here pretty well. So we have here the small oak barrels, we have also the big oak barrels, the 500 liter ones here. We have at the background 2,700 liter wooden barrels, which are more than 40 years old. We still use them. So we use the climate here mainly for our medium-bodied and full-bodied wines. So we have here the St. Laurent, we have here the Merlot, we have here the Cabernet Sauvignon. Also we have a special Blaufränkisch Reserve, so also Blaufränkisch Reserve is aging here. And of course we use the 500 liter ones for our white wines, for the Burgundy wines, for the Chardonnay and the Pinot Blanc. Hello and welcome back again. I will now show you the wines, what we have, and we have different kind of product lines. So the first line is this line called Wein. It's the more or less, let's say, young and urban line. It's really fancy, modern labels. What we even have from this line, we produce a lot of merchandising articles. Like we have those fancy and cool t-shirts. So every wine has its own, or every wine variety even has its own t-shirt in a surfer style, in kind of retro style, and with cool and fancy labels and text on it. And so this is the line Wein, named by myself. We then have this line over there is called a tradition line, where we have most of our products in it. Like it will be about 15 different kind of wines. And then we have this premium line, which is still have the old labels from my father. He still produces long-lasting wines, which you can put in your wine cellar and enjoy it in 20-30 years. But let's start with the Gelber Muscatella from the Wein line. The Gelber Muscatella, representative of the Muscat family, one of the oldest grapes here in Austria, probably brought by the Greeks via the Mediterranean regions back in the 14th century somewhere. So the Muscat family, especially this Gelber Muscatella, fruity in the nose. It has a bit of herbs, and I can even smell a bit of lime in it. So really light-bodied wine. This one is a 2019 vintage, which is slightly fizzy as well. So perfect summer wine. And especially what it has is this typical nutmeg. You have it in the nose. You even can taste it in the finish. And this one has a little bit of residual sugar in it, which I kind of like. Yeah, not too much. Yeah, and it makes the wine really sexy. So especially you can drink it with friends for an aperitif. It is a really nice wine. It pairs well with salads, seafood, and even I like to pair it with the Asian food because you have this balance then between the, you know, this spicy and you have here herbs and so on. So really good. I like this wine. The next one comes from my heart. Yeah, this Zweigelt, typical Austrian grape variety. It's, I think, the dominator of our varieties here in Austria. Zweigelt is a hybrid of Blaufränkisch and St. Laurent. It was crossed by Professor Zweigelt. And let's try a bit. When you smell Zweigelt, it's amazing. It's like as you sit beneath a cherry tree. It's like typical, so it's cherries, it's like raspberries, and a bit of spices in it, yeah. So this vintage here is a 2018. It has soft tannins, and this, again, what I like at Zweigelt is this sour and bitter effect. So this bitter cherry in the finish. So this is perfect, and it makes the Zweigelt really distinct. From the work in the vineyard with the Zweigelt, because it's really typical here, it has really huge bunches, yeah, on the grapes. So we have to cut them out to work to bring the Zweigelt in line with our style. And we age those wine in classical style, so in stainless steel tanks. And yeah, especially in the summer, and this is why I love this wine as well. In the summer, I mean, I love red wines, yeah, but in the summer it's, you know, you drink them warm, and Zweigelt especially for summer wines is perfect because drink them a little bit colder and then serve it with a Wiener Schnitzel. I love Wiener Schnitzel. It's veal breaded in breadcrumbs, and it fits perfectly together, yeah, because you have this sour and bitter effect, and then with the this crusty skin of the Wiener Schnitzel, it's perfect, yeah. Pair it with a potato salad and you will be the happiest man and woman on earth. Amazing. The third one is, which I show you, is the Heideboden. The Heideboden is a large vineyard site actually here in the northern part of Lake Neusiedl and in the eastern part of Lake Neusiedl. And yeah, it turned out in the last year that this is a kind of trademark for the wineries here. Yeah, so huge wineries call their wines Heideboden. And especially ours is here, it's a blend of Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot and Zweigelt. Again, here we have also the Zweigelt, which I love to pair in blends. This is of course more intense now, in the nose, herbs, a bit of spice, a bit of chocolate even. This wine was aged in used oak barrels for 6 months. The dominant variety is the Cabernet Sauvignon. Blackcurrant, licorice, also a bit of green pepper in it. And here, especially in Burgenland, we often pair Cabernet Sauvignon with Merlot because our Merlots are more soft, yeah, so they are really round, smooth, so they have harmonious tannins, and it fits perfectly together. And of course then we have the Zweigelt effect here again that brings a little bit this spiciness into it. What else to say about the wine? I think this is a wine just to open it when you come home from work, sit on your terrace, relax, lean back, enjoy the wine. Of course, you can pair it with a nice steak, with any kind of grilled meat. It's a wine that will definitely last for the next 3 to 5 years in your wine cellar. Yeah, perfect. Last but not least, finally I show you our second product line, which is called Tradition. And you see me here wearing an apron, yeah, and you wonder why? It's because simply a kind of manifesto for our tradition. So every label of the Tradition line has this blue triangle, and it comes from the past, because as you see here, this is how they work in the vineyards. In the old days, they were wearing this apron, and they put it, the apron, they formed it as a triangle like this, so they put it like there, and they had now space for having the grapes, the bunches in it, and some other material that they needed for the agricultural work. And we thought we shouldn't forget about this tradition, because my fathers, grandfathers, great-grandfathers, they still worked with it, and they work with it, and they still work with it sometimes. So, well, every label of this tradition has this kind of style. We call this, by the way, in Austria, this apron is called Vierter, yeah, which is really typical for Burgenland. So I will just quickly show you the two wines. So I have here, this one is a Chardonnay, vintage 2018. One of our last bottles. The new vintage is coming soon. Really nice and fruity Chardonnay. Really nice acidity. Perfectly fits to fish, to any kind of seafood, and also a nice summer wine for your terrace. And then finally I show you some friend that will that I will drink the whole summer. This is a rosé from the Zweigelt grape. We have just a really small amount of this rosé, only 1,500 bottles, I guess. Here again, a little bit of residual sugar. And what I especially like on this rosé, and this is also typical for Austria, where we drink spritzer, like we mix it with sparkling water. And typically, of course, you take a white wine for it, but I love to pair this wine with sparkling water, the rosé wine, to have a rosé spritzer. Excellent. So, well, thank you very much for inviting me again to introduce my wines. And if you're interested in more information, more details that you need, just send me a message on Facebook or on Instagram, or simply visit our website where you find all those wines. Thank you and goodbye.